Well, hello there. Happy April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2025. It's been a minute since I have created a video because I was away. I was away on another work away. I went to, I guess, I don't know if it's southwest of France, but it's about an hour and a half train ride away from Paris, and it was with a French couple. Well, he's French and she's Italian, but he doesn't speak any English, which was part of the draw for me because I really felt and have felt for a long time the only way I'm going to learn this language is if I'm immersed in it. So part of the draw, or part of the reason I went, was to just practice French and be and constantly feel like I have no choice but to speak it and to try to understand it. So I was right about that. I want to say for the first couple days, we did use a lot of Google Translate, but the thing is, his wife, who's Italian, she speaks English. So she was so helpful in terms of, she would speak French and then she'd be like, no, try to speak back to me, even if you get it wrong, like just keep practicing. So she was really, really amazing. She ended up leaving for like a weekend, and so it was just him and and that's when I felt like I really started to get good, because I had to listen and pay attention. And so and then I fell back and forth, yada yada. But what was interesting about the trip, I just got back yesterday, was there was not a lot for me to do. So how do I want to say this? When you're out in the country and there's not a lot to do. I mean, I did some things. Most of the time I was there, I was really helping prepare to cook the food, and then the cleaning and really whatever they needed. And then there was they have a huge property. So I helped with like all the outdoor stuff, or not all of it, but whatever he needed, but it wasn't a lot of stuff, to be honest. So there was a lot of time that I spent alone, and the quiet can be very, very, very confronting. And there were times where I was feeling like I wanted to leave and I wanted to see other people and I wanted to the cat food. There was just so many times where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could take this another week, And, and here's the but, I knew and have known that everything is here for me. So I was like, okay, there's a reason that I'm at this particular place at this particular moment. And I want to share that the eczema is pretty much almost all gone. We just have some here, but that's 2 weeks, and it's been amazing. It's been so amazing. So part of me being away was to dive in deep, because I had mentioned in a previous video, I'll link right here, that I knew the eczema was showing up because my body finally feels safe enough to show me what it's been holding, but I didn't know what it was. And I think, I was looking at different YouTube videos on eczema, and the common theme is that it really is so specific and personal for the person. So, I'm so conditioned, and I think we all are, to think that it's something we're doing to ourselves to cause something like this. So even if it is something emotional like stress and anxiety, well, I'm doing this because I can't seem to cope with stress, or, and I really, in particular, thought I was causing myself a lot of stress because of the way that I've been living, which is I'm living apartment free and I'm bouncing around and I'm doing cat sits and I don't really have like a permanent anything. It's all about living in surrender. So it was really hard for me to not look at myself and my body and blame myself and think that it's something I'm doing, which if you think that way, then it's just going to get worse, right? But I never thought, and this is what's so beautiful, because I came to this awareness, this epiphany, when I was away. I never ever thought that it could be that my body was holding on to a secret for me, and it finally feels ready because of all the work that I've been doing, and really because we heal in layers. And it finally feels safe enough and ready enough to show me we've been holding something, some trauma. And I don't feel comfortable sharing what it is. However, I will say this. Often it's the opposite of what we think. So I thought, because I'm so conditioned to, and we all are, to blame ourselves, I thought because I didn't share and I haven't shared the way that I'm living with my family, I am keeping a secret from them. Although I really internalized it as a boundary. This is a boundary. I'm an adult. This is how I choose to live. It's okay. I just couldn't fathom they would understand. And I thought that it would cause too much worry. And I didn't want that energy. I didn't want that energy. I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm going out on this experiment, and I don't think that they would understand, and I don't want to cause more worry. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. And so I thought, oh, it's because I'm keeping the secret from them. That could be why this is showing up. I had no idea that it was the opposite. My body was holding a secret from me. And it was so powerful because once I had that awareness, which, by the way, your intuition, your soul's voice, it doesn't come in the mind. It sort of arrives. It felt like an arrival of this like awareness. It just hit me. And I can't even tell you exactly where I was when it happened, but I noticed I was just looking at my life. Like, if my life is a mirror to what I'm holding, what is triggering me right now? And I just started to feel that I started to lean into the trigger, like, why am I wanting to run away? Why am I wanting to leave, And I started to really investigate and then just kind of let it go. And that's when it sort of arrived. And so I really worked through what showed up for me. And then I felt so completely like liberated and empowered. And I was like, yes, like, duh, this is it. And I'm like, now I get it. Now I just feel like, oh my God, like this was the best experience of my life. Like, I can't believe I wanted to run away. You see, the ego always wants to run from the healing, run from the uncomfortable. And so I leaned in, broke through, felt liberated, felt amazing. And then I started to look at myself and my body like, you take however long you need to take, however long. I am in pure reverence to you. You have been protecting me this whole time. Like, I'm so sorry that I got angry or that I got upset at myself. Like, I think the biggest piece was I stopped beating myself up about it, And that's a hard thing because we're so conditioned, because that's what the ego loves to do, is to blame us for everything, And once again, I had that awareness, I was able to see everything so differently, and I felt amazing. And I was like, oh my God, and I was like crying. I mean, it was like really, really, really deep and powerful. And as soon as I went back to my room that night, I got a text from my dad saying, you just got another check in the mail. This time for $2,000. I was like, oh my God. I mean, again, I didn't need it. It wasn't like I was looking for it. It was validation of I worked through something. Instead of running away, instead of trying to busy myself, instead of trying to make other arrangements, I knew I was exactly where I needed to be. And if I can work through this trigger, even though it was so uncomfortable, I knew that there would be some sort of an epiphany on the other side. And there was, and then boom, to have that happen again, but then in this like miraculous way, I was like, wow, thank you. And yeah, it's been such a remarkable journey. I started to really understand how everything in our lives is so perfectly orchestrated, and we get it backwards. We think, I just want to hurry it up, and I just want this, and it's not going the way I want. And it's like, it's going exactly as planned if you just fully accept it. Whatever it is, whatever that thing that you're avoiding, whatever that's triggering you right now, if you fully lean in, you'll understand. And I've been doing this. It's been a year. April 1st 1 year ago was when I gave my notice at my apartment here in Paris. And I said, I'm betting on myself. I'm betting on my trust with the universe. And really what I'm saying is I'm trusting myself, right? Because we are the universe. And it was so scary, but it was also so liberating. And I'll never forget, I was dancing after I gave notice. Now, of course, like 3 or 4 days later, it like really hit me and I was so scared. But that initial choice that I had to let it go, and I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't know how long it would be. I didn't know anything. I just look back and I think, wow, like, how courageous, you know? Like, let me celebrate how courageous that was, and how here I am a year later and I've just moved through like one of the hardest things, which was like when something is on your body or in your body or illness, like all of that stuff. I mean, I think it's so challenging, so hard not to, look at it and think this is wrong. There's something wrong. Because again, we're so conditioned to just, oh, this is a problem. This is not how my skin's supposed to look like. Like, this is an illness. This is not how I'm supposed to feel. I just lost my job. This person just broke up with me. Like, whatever horrible thing it is, we're so conditioned to think that it's bad. When really, like I said, it's usually the opposite. It's like the best thing. And it's your job. It really is our job to see that, to see how everything really is working out for us. And so I remember when I started to tell people just briefly, like, oh, I gave notice to my apartment. And I remember hearing, well, I hope it works out for you. And I was like, of course, everything works out for me. Of course, everything works out for me. And so even that comment was kind of triggering, because I knew it was just a reflection of some doubt in my mind. Because when I first did it, I was nervous. Like, what if I end up being homeless or I end up on the streets, all the things, like all the fears. So I understood. But now that wouldn't be triggering to me, because I've already spent a year and I'm like, look at how far I've come. Like, look at how far I've come. There's so much. There's just so much. And I've only just begun. So I want to say cheers to being courageous. Cheers to healing. Cheers to looking at everything in our lives, everything as here for us. Everything always works out for me. And it's always even better than I imagined. So sending you so much love. More videos now that I'm back. Back to Paris. Yay.